Hey guys, Moamra here from Bent Forks Brewing, and in this video I'm going to show you how to create your own keg washer and fermentation washer from some basic components that you can get from your local hardware store and a couple components that you can purchase from Amazon or other homebrew shops. So stay tuned, check out the video, and remember to subscribe down below if you like what you see here. Alright guys, so let's dive into what components you need to go and purchase in order to create this keg washer and fermenter washer. We can kind of work from the ground up and look at all the components. So what you're first going to want to purchase is some 1/2-inch piping. My local shop only had it in 5-foot sections, so I got 1/2-inch 5-foot and 3/4-inch 5-foot pieces of PVC. You can go kind of on the smaller side, but you're always going to have some left over. You can use it in other areas of your brewing as well. Next component is going to be how do you connect your pump to the remainder of your wash, and that's really going to be variable what kind of pump you use. I'm using a standard injector pit pump, which has an 1.25 inch fitting. So it's going to have a female fitting to then a compression fitting, and it goes from 1.25 inch to 1/2-inch female, which is going to go together like that. And then you're going to have a 1/2-inch MPT to 3/4 inch female adapter that connects to that. Like I said, this may change and it will be a variable depending on what kind of pump you're using. So just keep in mind out for that it may change around a little bit. Next component you're going to need as far as the standard fermenter wash is you're going to need a 4-way 3/4 inch fitting. You're going to need a reduction 3/4 to 1/2 inch fitting. You're going to need 2 3/4 inch caps. And then you're going to then move over to the components that we need for the keg washer, which will include a 3/4 all the way around 3/4 T fitting, a 3/4 to 1/2 inch female MPT fitting, a 1/2 inch male MPT to 5/16 barb, and then you're also going to need a 3-way 5/16 barb, your beer and gas fittings with 5/16 barbs on the end, about 6 hose clamps, a sip ball, which I purchased this on Amazon for a pretty reasonable price. I will include the link to this product in this video for you guys. So if you'd like to purchase this and use it in your keg wash, I think it would be a great investment as well. And to connect to the hose, you're going to need a 1/2 inch female to 1/2 inch male MPT fitting and 5/16 hose as well. You're going to need a 5-gallon bucket with lid. The lid will only be used when you're setting this up to be your fermenter washer so that it has a place to rest when the whole machine is running. That way it doesn't kind of move around on you too much. So you'll have to determine what size hole you're going to be cutting. It'll be really a variable compared to what fermenter you're using and how big of an opening you need to have in that lid for that to work and to keep the fermenter in place when you're doing the wash. So overall, not a ton of components, and it's really not a overly complicated process to put everything together. So let's get to the fun part and let's put all these pieces together. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to want to do is mark out our 3/4 inch tubing. We're going to need to make several cuts to this tubing. We're going to make a cut. One piece is going to be 2 inches, one piece is going to be 2.5 inches, and then you're going to have 2 pieces at 3 3/4 inches. So I'm going to mark these out. You're going to want to have a sturdy area to work with, a hacksaw or whatever else you want to use to cut the PVC and cut the pieces down. So let's get these marked out, cut down, and then we'll get to the next part of the build. Alright guys, so the next part of the build is to determine our cut for the 1/2-inch PVC. When you combine these three pieces, this is going to be the part that actually sits inside the keg and the fermenter. So you're going to have to do a little measuring to determine how far in you want to be sitting for your fermenter, depending on what you use. And then also you want to be about 3/4 in, if not a little higher, into your keg. So when I'm measuring this all together, I want it to be about 20 inches. Which then between the sip ball and the fitting, I need to make about a 15-inch cut to my 1/2-inch PVC. So let's measure that out and make that cut, and then we'll start putting the components together. All right, so now I've made all my cuts that I need for this part. I'm gonna kind of lay it out for you guys and show you where all the components are gonna be sitting together and what it's gonna look like, and then we'll get to the gluing part. Okay, so I've mocked up all the pieces so that you guys can kind of see where the components all sit together. So as you can see, the sip ball is up here with the 1/2-inch MPT to 1/2-inch fitting with the 15-inch cut that we made, the reducer 1/2-inch to 3/4. This is the 2-inch piece here between the reducer. You got the 3 3/4 pieces with the 2 caps, and then you got the 2 1/2-inch piece of 3/4 inch that we cut to the 3/4 with the 1/2-inch MPT. And then, as I said before, this is the component that may change depending on what pump you use, the compression fitting with the fitting to go onto your pump. Now it is important to note that you're going to want to glue these components here, but you are not going to want to glue the part where it goes from the 2 1/2-inch to the fitting that's present right here. The reason for that, you'll see in a little bit, that has to do with how we're going to actually put the keg washing component in this equation. So this part you do not want to glue, everything else you do want to glue together. So I'm going to do that next here, and then we'll go from there. All right, so we've made all the connections here, glued everything together. All these components are now permanently sealed together. So you do have to work quick with these and make sure you have everything laid out exactly where you want it to be, because once you start gluing, there's really no going back. And as I said, it's important to not glue this 3/4 to 1/2 inch MPT fitting, because this is where we're gonna interject for our keg wash, where we can add to actually go up both the inlet and the outlet for the beer and the gas line to wash those. And that's the next component that we're going to put together here. All right, guys, so the next part of this component is actually putting together the part for the keg washing so that you're able to go for the inlet and the outlet on your keg. So I did a few things off screen. I cut the tubing, 2 8-inch pieces and 1 12-inch piece. The next thing I'm gonna do is cut 2 more 2-inch pieces of the 3/4 inch piping, and then we'll put this whole component together, and then I'll show you how it all fits together. All right, so what you're going to want to do is insert the 3/4 inch piping into this component here, another component going downwards here. You're going to take that 3/4 inch to reduction 1/2 inch with threading inside, and you're going to place that component here. You're going to take your 1/2 inch MPT to barb and attach like so. And then what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to run the 12-inch hose, put clamps on to the T with the other 2 8-inch pieces, and your barbs or your 2 attachments for the keg. And then you're going to want to add clamps to all those components to make sure they're nice and snug, like so. And then I'll show you how this all kind of fits together here. And that's what the finished product looks like. So we put all the components together. Obviously we glued these 2 2-inch pieces together with the T and the L rack with the reduction. All these I took the liberty of putting together on off screen for you guys, but as you can see, it's the T here with the 12-inch piece and the 2 8-inch pieces connected to the gas and the beer line, and then also connected to the barb down here, and all hose clamped together. So let's put this together and you can kind of see how it all flows together, and then we'll run a test wash and you can see it in action. So I've attached the fitting to my 1/4 horsepower utility pump, which should produce more than enough aggregate pressure to give my kegs and also my fermenter a great wash. So I've attached the fitting that's required for my utility pump, also the 1/2 inch MPT to 3/4 inch female fitting. So as you can see, if you're just doing a fermentation wash, you just take your build out, place it in, and this is why we didn't glue it. And then you can place this in the bucket, set the fermenter in at what height is needed, and run the pump, and your sip ball will run and give your fermenter a great wash. Let's give that a good view there. So the way that this component will change is if you're doing this for a keg wash, is that this will come out. And again, this is why we didn't glue this together. You'll take your separate piece that you built for the keg wash, you'll insert that in, and then you'll add the other component back on top. You place this into your bucket, you'll add the keg in here, and then these obviously go to your gas and your beer line. Place that in and run the wash, and you'll get a wonderful wash through all the components in your keg, both through the ball posts, and then also inside with your keg with the sip fitting attached to the top. So pretty straightforward build. Does not take a lot and does not take a lot of components either to build. As you can see, I was able to put it together relatively quick with a few pieces that I got from my local hardware store, and then obviously the sip ball, as I said, from Amazon, which I will include in this video so you guys can be linked to that and get it for yourself. If you like what you see here, as I said, please subscribe. I would appreciate it. Comment below if you have any questions about what you've seen today, or if you have any comments about what I could change or do better, or if you build one yourself, how it went for you. Thank you for watching. All right, guys, so here's the keg and fermenter washer in action. I have my keg sitting on top. I've hooked it up to the 2-ball valves. You can see it sits nicely on top of the cross post there. A ton of water is spewing out. I added about 2 gallons worth of water and some PV wash. Plenty of flow, plenty of pressure. With that sip ball working up there, you know you're getting a fantastic wash of your keg. Quick and simple build, but the results are pretty fantastic.